On January 20th, 1265, an unprecedented assembly convened in Westminster Hall. This gathering would forever alter the course of English governance. It was the first parliament in English history. This assembly was revolutionary in its representation. It included not only the traditional nobles and high clergy, but also knights from every shire and burgesses from major towns. This marked a significant departure from previous royal councils. The architect of this groundbreaking event was Simon de Montfort. His orchestration of such an inclusive body represented a direct challenge to the prevailing notion of royal absolutism. It asserted that power should be shared. This pivotal moment did not emerge from a vacuum. It directly stemmed from the principles enshrined in Magna Carta, signed 50 years earlier in 1215. Magna Carta had asserted that even kings ruled under law, not above it. The 1265 Parliament thus marked a crucial step. It was a foundational move towards medieval democracy and the development of representative government. Its echoes would resonate for centuries to come. Henry III ascended to the throne as a child in 1216. His minority reign was skillfully managed by a regency council. Figures like William Marshall and Hubert de Burgh successfully navigated a turbulent period. During this time, Magna Carta was reissued in 1217 and again in 1225. These reissues were vital, confirming its status as a fundamental legal document. They solidified its place in English law. Through a combination of diplomacy and careful governance, royal authority was gradually restored. The regents ensured the stability of the kingdom after the tumultuous reign of King John. However, Henry's personal rule, beginning around 1232, brought new challenges. His reign was characterized by significant financial mismanagement and a notable lack of political sensitivity. These flaws would prove costly. He embarked on a series of expensive failures and ill-conceived continental adventures. These ventures drained the royal treasury without yielding any substantial benefits for England. His ambitions often outstripped his resources. The Sicilian business of 1254 stands out as a catastrophic mistake. Henry committed England to an unaffordable war in Sicily, a distant land with little strategic value. This decision pushed the kingdom to its financial breaking point. By 1258, royal finances had utterly collapsed. Henry had consistently ignored Magna Carta's financial restrictions, which required baronial consent for new taxes. This disregard fueled widespread discontent among his subjects. The 13th century witnessed profound societal changes in England. The population nearly doubled, reaching an estimated 4 million by 1250. This demographic boom reshaped the landscape and economy. This growth spurred significant urbanization. Over 120 new borough charters were issued, leading to the rapid expansion of towns. These new urban centers became hubs of commerce and innovation. Planned commercial centers, such as New Salisbury, founded in 1220, exemplified this trend. They were designed for trade and attracted merchants and artisans, fostering economic development. An intellectual revolution also took root with the emergence of universities. Oxford University began to take shape around 1209, soon followed by Cambridge. These institutions became centers of learning. These universities fostered a new intellectual class. This group was increasingly independent of direct church control, promoting critical thought and scholarly inquiry. They broadened the scope of knowledge. The 1240s and 1250s saw a guild revolution. Craft guilds like the London Weavers' Guild became powerful forces. They regulated trade, ensured quality, and provided social support for their members. Guilds established rigorous standards for quality and training. This professionalism made English goods highly competitive in European markets. It enhanced the kingdom's economic standing. By the 1250s, a full-fledged commercial revolution was underway. A sophisticated commercial economy connected even remote villages to international markets. Wool, tin, and cloth became major exports. This economic shift gave rise to new social classes. Merchants and lawyers gained significant power and influence. Their wealth and status were increasingly independent of the traditional feudal hierarchy. Henry's demand for more taxes in 1258, amidst his financial woes, triggered a severe constitutional crisis. The barons, fed up with his misrule, refused to comply without significant reforms. Simon de Montfort, a charismatic and ambitious nobleman, emerged as the undisputed leader of this baronial opposition. He galvanized support for radical changes to royal governance. The crisis culminated in the Provisions of Oxford in 1258. This landmark document established a council of 15 barons to oversee royal policy and finances. It severely curtailed the king's power. Crucially, the provisions mandated that Parliament meet 3 times yearly. Its purpose was to review government performance and advise the king. This represented a significant step towards constitutional monarchy. However, Henry soon attempted to overturn the provisions, leading to open conflict. This ignited the Second Barons' War, which raged from 1261 to 1264. The kingdom was plunged into civil strife. Simon de Montfort proved to be a formidable leader. He rallied support far beyond the traditional nobility, drawing in knights, townsmen, and even some peasants. His cause resonated with a broader populace. The Battle of Lewes in 1264 was a decisive victory for Montfort. He captured King Henry III and his son, Prince Edward. This placed the royal family under Montfort's control, giving him supreme authority. With the king as his captive, Simon de Montfort convened the first parliament in 1265. His innovation of including knights from each shire and burgesses from major towns set a crucial precedent. Though Simon de Montfort was killed later that year at the Battle of Evesham, the precedent for broader representation was firmly established. His vision for a more inclusive government would endure. Beyond the political turmoil, daily life in England was undergoing profound changes. Village life became increasingly commercialized. The traditional system of labor service began to give way to money rents. Farmers shifted towards more market-oriented agriculture. Villages became more deeply connected to regional and international markets, selling their surplus goods for profit. This fostered economic growth. The 1250s also saw an agricultural revolution. Innovations like the heavy plough and the widespread adoption of the 3-field system dramatically increased productivity. More food could be grown. New crops were introduced, improving nutrition and soil fertility. These advancements supported the growing population and contributed to the overall prosperity of the kingdom. Urban centres flourished during this period. London's population swelled to an estimated 80,000 by 1270, making it one of Europe's largest and most vibrant cities. It was a hub of activity. These cities developed specialized commercial districts and were defined by their craft guilds. Urban life offered new opportunities and a different social structure than the feudal countryside. This era is also known as the Cathedral Age. The construction of grand cathedrals such as Salisbury, Wells, and Lincoln showcased immense wealth and sophisticated engineering. These projects were monumental undertakings. These magnificent structures were not just religious symbols. They also demonstrated the economic sophistication and organizational capabilities of 13th century England. They were testaments to a thriving society. Henry III's long and often troubled reign served a crucial purpose. It provided the practical application and rigorous testing of Magna Carta's principles. The document moved from theory to practice. The growing wealth, the emergence of educated classes, and the expansion of urban communities provided essential social foundations for a stable, lawful government. These groups demanded a voice. The legacy of Henry III's reign is therefore paradoxical. Despite his personal failures, his era transformed abstract constitutional principles into practical foundations for parliamentary government. This complex, commercialized society created multiple centers of power. These interests were increasingly independent of royal policy, demanding accountability and representation. The king was no longer the sole authority. When Edward the Run inherited the throne, he received a kingdom that had in many ways learned to govern itself. This was despite and perhaps because of his father's royal failures. The seeds of self-governance had been sown. The age of amateur royal government was drawing to a close. It was gradually giving way to more professional and institutionalized political structures. The path to modern parliamentary democracy had begun.